Hello everyone, I'm Lauren and welcome to another video from the Tiny Menagerie. When it comes to fish that clean algae from the surfaces of your tank, it can sometimes feel like a real challenge to find ones that stay nice and small while still having the wow factor of their larger counterparts. Hillstream Loaches fit the bill perfectly with their curious flattened shape, reticulated yellow patterning and slightly prehistoric looking face. And while they can be a bit of a challenge to find at times, these intriguing little fish are well worth the wait, and they're often slightly higher price tag. But what are they like to keep in your tank, and what kind of setup do they need? Well, Hillstream Loaches certainly live up to their name and originate in fast-flowing rivers and streams around China and Vietnam. These tend to be very turbulent waters where vegetation can't get a foothold and survive, and so in the aquarium, Hillstreams like a selection of rocks and driftwood that they can graze from, preferably with plenty of nooks and crannies in between them to act as hiding places. To this extent, you could create a scape based purely on rocks and combine that with a nice powerful filter and your Hillstreams would be perfectly at home. Unfortunately though, not many other fish are going to enjoy these conditions, and so if you're looking at keeping Hillstreams in a community tank, then you're going to need to compromise with them. Provide them with plenty of rocks for grazing from and keep the water well oxygenated, and so long as there's some current they will do just fine. That way you can keep other strong swimming fish as well, such as tetras. In terms of pH, Hillstreams need water that is either very slightly acidic or neutral and with a slightly lower temperature range than your typical tropical fish. Somewhere between 19 and 24 degrees is ideal. One thing to note about the tank's size is the fact that Hillstreams can be a little bit feisty with each other. Males will spar with each other over good feeding grounds, and although these battles are rarely harmful, it's worth giving each fish enough space to escape from an overly aggressive competitor. To that end, I found providing each one with roughly 30 by 30 centimeters of space, and with plenty of large rocks to block their line of sight so that they're not constantly looking at each other works well. This way, if you have a 100 centimeter long tank, you should have enough space to keep 3 Hillstreams comfortably without any one fish being overly bullied. And Hillstreams should be kept in groups if at all possible. Single individuals seem to live perfectly happy lives, but they display much more fascinating behaviour when they're kept with a group of their own kind, and as a minimum you should look to keep around 3. A male-female pairing also works very well as they don't really fight with each other, and more just sort of dance around occasionally before going their separate ways. But sexing Hillstreams is not easy until they've reached full maturity, and then the female's larger size and broader shape becomes more apparent. And so, because Hillstreams tend to be sold as juveniles, it becomes much easier to just buy a small group. Other tankmates are limited purely by the size of that other fish, as Hillstreams only grow to be about 2 inches in length, and that includes their tail, and so large fish will see them as a snack. Hillstreams though show absolutely no interest at all in other fish. They are perfectly peaceful even with the tiniest of shrimplets. One thing to keep an eye on if you are keeping a group of Hillstreams is that they are getting enough feed, as they can be remarkably picky eaters. In the wild, they feed almost exclusively on biofilm that grows on the rocks, which are bathed in tropical sunlight underneath fast-flowing crystal clear water, and so in the aquarium, Hillstreams very much prefer the same diet. And you will often see them happily hopping from one surface to another on the hunt for food, although they will also skim through the substrate as well, especially if you give them a nice fine sand. Their biofilm diet can be supplemented with frozen feeds such as Daphnia or brine shrimp, but in a very clean tank or an overly populated one, Hillstreams can actually starve to death if they're unable to find enough film to feed on, as they will often refuse to eat any of the very highly prepared feeds such as flake foods. For this reason, if you're looking to breed your Hillstreams, it's well worth setting up a shallow tank with a really strong light above them, and then just lots and lots of piled up rocks on a sand substrate. This will provide the perfect conditions for algae and biofilm to grow as fast as possible and keeping your breeders well fed with a natural diet, and it'll also provide plenty of hiding places for the fry as well. Although Hillstreams are not known for eating their own eggs or fry, it is worth noting that they will happily eat the eggs of other fish and seem to particularly relish cory eggs that have been deposited on the glass. And just a quick note on Hillstreams' worth as a cleaner for your tank. They are pretty terrible, I'm afraid. Hillstreams really don't have the powerful scraping mouths of an Otocinclus or a Plecostomus, and so they can't rasp at a surface until it looks like new. They more sort of delicately scrim across the surface, just taking off the finest, softest of biofilm and algae, so don't expect one to perform miracles if you have an algae problem in your tank. But who cares, right? Hillstreams are lovely little fish. They are full of character and personality, and keeping them is incredibly easy so long as they have some rocks or driftwood to clean up. And their peaceful nature means they get along with pretty much any other fish that you pair them with, just so long as that other fish likes living in moving water. Anywho, I hope you've enjoyed this little video all about Hillstream Loaches. Happy fish keeping everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!